Hello, everyone, and welcome to session 2 of ECCM 401, Measuring Customer Satisfaction. My name is Dr. Sheena Lovia Boateng, and I am your course instructor. Please, are we ready to start?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
All right.
please.
So in this session, there are two main outcomes that we hope to achieve by the end of the session. First, your hand is up. Kindly go ahead.
Okay, Doc. I just want to know if the slides will be made available to us so that our concentration will not be affected.
Definitely.
Okay.
So
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. So you'll get them after the lectures.
Okay.
Good. All right. Is there anything else?
No, please.
Okay. So I'm going to proceed. All right. So like I was saying, there are two main learning outcomes that we hope to achieve at the end of the session. The first one being to be able to understand the role of international standards and how they relate to measuring and monitoring customer satisfaction. And then we will also be able to understand and explain the role of the ISO 10001 to 10004 group of standards in the management and measurement of customer satisfaction. I know this looks a bit weird right now, but it will make sense very soon. Before we proceed, has anyone heard of ISO standards? Has anyone ever heard of them?
Oh,
No?
no.
You've never gone to buy something or seen an advert of a product or service and then they have ISO certified pasted somewhere?
We've seen some before.
Good. What did you see it on?
I don't remember.
Okay. It is easy for you to take it for granted because in the first place, you don't even know what it is.
Yeah.
So you just look at it and then you ignore it and you go on your merry way. It makes total sense. But the ISO standards are very, very important. And we are going to find out about a certain group that specifically affect what we are studying in this course, being the measurement of customer satisfaction. So by the end of this session, you'll be able to understand what ISO standards are. I hope that is okay.
Yes, please.
All right, so let's go ahead.
Ma'am.
All right. Okay, so ISO standards are international standards. So before we can understand the ISO set of standards, we need to understand what international standards are. So international standards are basically the distilled wisdom of people such as manufacturers, customers, regulators, and other stakeholders who have expertise in their subject matter and who know the needs of the organizations that they represent. So these experts come together and they draw up what we refer to as standards or best practices that relate to the specific areas in which they have this expertise. And the International Organization for Standardization is one of those organizations, in fact, the foremost organization currently in the world that brings together all these experts that we are talking about from different parts of the world to develop specific standards to guide organizations in the performance of their business activities, be it to offer a product or service. So when we say ISO certification, it is a certification that is issued by a body that is accredited by the International Organization for Standardization. That certifies that a company's management system, manufacturing process, service, or documentation procedure has all the requirements for standardization and quality assurance. So in essence, the International Organization for Standardization is mainly there to publish these standards to guide organizations to make sure that they keep up to date with their standardization and quality assurance activities as is practiced in other parts of the world. Abna Samoa, your hand is up. Go ahead.
Madam, please, my question is, are the standards rules that govern globally, like, is it,
Good.
do they form rules?
Yes, they are rules, but they are not mandatory. So a company is not mandated to get ISO certified, but it is in the company's best interest to get ISO certified, because the international standards that are brought out by the ISO organization help a firm who gets certified to be recognized all over the world as adhering to best practice. And if you are adhering,
to cut you.
yes,
I want to ask another question. And is it only limited to companies or sole proprietorships, partnerships, or
it's
just firms
limited
in
to all
general?
manner of organizations, as long as you can meet the requirements of the standard that you are applying to be certified for.
Okay.
Do you get it?
Yes, please.
Good. Now, most of the time we find that SMEs are not among the first group of organizations that go in for ISO certification, mainly because it is not a cheap process. You have to go through a number of stages, hire a consultant to guide you on how to navigate the requirements of the standardization. As we will learn very soon, each of the standardizations have their own set of requirements. And these come in the form of a comprehensive document that you as an organization have to go through step by step and make sure that you satisfy every requirement that has been stated in the document before you can apply for an inspection to judge if you are ready to achieve that certification. So it is a tedious and expensive process, but the firms who are able to go through the process, gain a lot of benefits, because then in the eyes of the world, you are standardized. So whatever you produce is not just acceptable in your part of the world or in your country, but it's acceptable in every other part of the world for any product or service that is produced from an organization of your kind. This doesn't make sense.
Yes, please.
Yes.
Good. So what is the International Organization for Standardization? It is an independent, non-governmental international organization with a membership of 165 national standards bodies. So these 165 national standard bodies we are talking about are all the national institutions for standardization across the world. So in Ghana here, which body is responsible for our standardization when it comes to products and services? Pardon?
Ghana Standard Authority.
Good. And the Ghana Standard Authority is a member of the International Organization for Standardization. So whenever they want to develop standards and they are looking for experts across the world, the Ghana Standards Authority is part of the group of national standards bodies that provides representation. So the International Organization for Standardization brings together all these experts that we have talked about in their various fields of endeavor to share knowledge and develop voluntary consensus-based market-relevant international standards. Because like I said earlier, it's not mandatory. However, once they are able to come up with these standards, the firms who are able to get certified by them are able to use it to support innovation in their organizations and provide solutions to global challenges. Because once you become standardized, it means that you are operating at a level where you are not only fit to solve the problem of the consumers or the audience within your immediate geographic setting, but you are standardized enough that you can provide products and services to solve the problems of consumers in other parts of the world. So ISO standards cover a huge range of activities. And as we will learn very soon, there are so many different standards that the International Organization for Standardization has. So depending on the area or sector that your organization operates in and the certification that you believe will help your business, you can decide to be certified for as many as 3 or 4 or 5, depending on how you think it will be able to support you in your objectives to achieve innovation and provide solutions for global challenges. So this huge range of activities that it covers can cover as many things as making of a product, managing of processes that lead to the production of a particular product and its sales, or the delivery of a particular service, or the supply of certain raw materials. It covers a huge range of activities. And because of that, like I mentioned earlier, each certification has separate standards. So depending on the one that you believe can help your organization, you go in for that certification and you go through the due processes to meet the requirements to become certified for that particular standard. So because the certifications are numerous and there are so many of them, they try to keep track of them by giving them numbers. So depending on the specific number of the certification that you are referring to, we can be able to tell what kind of standard that the certification relates to. Now, there are several of them, but I'm just going to give you a few examples. For instance, we have the ISO 9001 certification that has to do with quality management systems. Now, for the ISO 9001 certification, it is a direct reflection of how a firm is able to provide quality services to satisfy customer needs. Now, these certifications are renewed every now and then, I believe every 3 to 4 years. So each of them, there's a most recent version of it that is currently being used for standardization in the market. For instance, for the ISO 9001, the most recent version is the 2015 version. So for a company that is certified for ISO 9001 at the moment, you will see that their sticker will say certified ISO 9001:2015, meaning that they have met all the requirements for the ISO 9001 2015 version quality management system. Please, does it make sense?
Yes, ma'am.
Good.
Yes.
So whenever you see ISO 9001 2015 standard certified on a product or service, it means that they have met the global standard for quality management systems. And these quality management systems cover everything from understanding customer requirements to all the processes that are involved in satisfying customer needs in a quality manner. And that is it for the ISO 9001. Then we also have the ISO IEC 27001 certification, which has to do with information security management systems. So if someone were to go for ISO 27001 certification, they want to be certified globally that they have met all the requirements to show that they have a quality information security management system. Now, off the top of your head, which company do you think can benefit from such a certification?
The
banks.
Yeah.
the
Telecommunications.
Please remember we said we'll raise our hands.
Yeah, sorry.
Okay,
Sorry.
so let's do that. Abdullah, your hand was up first. So let's start with you.
Yes. I think with the information security management system, organizations that deals with sensitive information, such as, let's say, the NGOs or the political organizations,
Okay.
or let's say the networking organizations who
Good.
have to keep their program files secure.
Good.
Mostly they should go in for this security management system.
Good. That's a prime example. Thank you, Abdullah. Nadia, you wanted to come in?
Yeah, I
Yes.
spoke about the telecommunications.
Good. They also handle huge amounts of customers' data, very sensitive data that have to do with their communication. So that's another good one. Thank you, Nadia. Abna Samoa, your hand is still up. Is it from the previous one, or you want to comment on this one?
No, I want to comment the embassies.
Please go ahead. Good, embassies, right? So any organization that handles sensitive information will benefit from this certification to show that they have put in place all the measures to ensure that the information that they are carrying is secured. Good one. Okay, the next one is the ISO 14001 certification. This one has to do with environmental management systems. So which company can benefit from this certification off the top of your head? Nadia, your hand is up.
Hey.
From the previous one. Okay.
Yeah. Please, can we talk of Zoom Lion?
Zoom Lion, yeah.
Okay.
Because their work is very sensitive to the environment.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they will benefit very much from the environmental management system. Abdallah, you want to come in?
Yes, the example I wanted to say were manufacturing companies such as those who use heavy machines in their industries.
Good.
Mostly if they get those who have this certification, at least it will show that even though they are bringing in big machines, probably it is safe for the environment.
Good.
I don't know if it relates to,
Yeah, because environmental management systems shows that even though you may be doing something that may harm the environment, you have put in place measures to ensure that the environment is protected.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay. So that's a good one, Abdullah. Abna, come in.
Please, the fuel, the tankers, the fuel stations and things, they also check, if you go, they'll tell you don't put on your phone, turn off your engine. So the environment in which that's the fuel stations, their environment is very sensitive because of fires and things.
Oh, good. So that's another one, right? That's another good example. All right, who's next? Is it Abna? Abna, you just spoke.
Yes, I've lowered my hand.
Okay, so Foster, go ahead.
I would say the mining companies.
Good. Right. So these are all examples of firms that could benefit from this environmental management system, right? Because then they have to prove that they have put in place the measures to ensure that their impact on the environment is controlled based on the steps or the guidelines that have been put out in the standard. Let's do the next one. ISO 22000 certification, which has to do with food safety management. Who can benefit from this? Patience, go ahead.
Madam, please, can we talk about Nestle Ghana, Coca-Cola?
Good.
Africa.
Good.
Unilever.
Good. Any company that has to do with the production of food items or items that end up as part of food that is consumed can benefit from this food safety management certification, right? Foster.
Yeah.
Thank you. Is it Portia or Patience? Patience. Yes. Thank you, Patience, for that contribution. Foster, go ahead.
Ma'am, the restaurants and then the beverage industry.
Good. Because they all produce products that have to do with food or items that end up consumed by customers. So good. Let's look at ISO 5001, energy management. Energy management.
Madam.
Yes.
Please, can we talk about Electricity Ghana?
Perhaps. Electricity Ghana could benefit. So I said 5001, 50,001.
50,000.
So how would they benefit if we are talking about energy management?
Okay, so Madam, I think Electricity Ghana, they make sure the voltage or the amount of electricity entering or powering an industry on its correct verge so that it wouldn't.
Good. So efficient energy management.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's a good one, Patient. Any other organization? Following from Patient's point on the efficient management of energy, the right voltage and all that.
I was going to cite the example of the solar energy system.
Good.
The solar
Madam, please, can we
companies,
say- sorry.
the solar companies, the policies they also put in place to ensure that there's adequate power depending on the building they are going to supply.
Good.
Yeah.
Right. So that is another company that can benefit from ISO 50,001. Sorry, the energy management standards. So that's a good one. Thank you, Abdullah. Right. So let's do the last one. ISO 45,001 certification, occupational health and safety. This is an easy one. Occupational health and safety. Abdullah, go ahead.
Okay, so with this, I was going to mention the hospitals, the private hospitals and public hospitals.
That's
and
a very good
probably,
example.
Yeah. And probably the fire service.
Good.
Industry, yeah.
Good. That's another good one. Thank you, Abdullah. Patience, come in.
The police services.
Mention.
Madam, that's all.
Generally, I thought you people would not even finish. Because guess
Madam,
what?
please, can we say all the industries that produce
All
any
the
form of
industries, all of them that employ people.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because any occupation needs occupational health and safety. Whether you're a lawyer, driver, teacher, messenger, maid servant, anybody at all.
Civil servants.
Everybody. Occupational health and safety is a must. Right? So we realize that these standards have manifold applications, regardless of the kind of organization you're talking about. Do we understand?
Yes, please.
Yes.
Frederica says, please, do VRA also benefit from ISO 50,001? Yes, 50,001 is about energy management. Any company that uses up a lot of energy and wants to be able to communicate to the rest of the world that even though they use up a lot of energy, they have done their best or taking the necessary steps to ensure that the energy that they are using, they are doing so in an efficient manner. So perhaps they use a lot of energy, but they are not taking all the energy directly from the grid. Perhaps they have supported it with some solar. Perhaps they have supported it with some biogas. These are all issues that we can discuss under the standard of energy management, right? But these are beyond the purview of our class. But yes, VRA can benefit from this energy management certification.
Thank you, madam.
You're welcome. Al-Hassan, you said, can we talk of organizations in charge of road safety? Are you saying in relation to the occupational health and safety? Al-Hassan, clarify.
Yes, madam.
Yes, all of them. Because DVLA employs people, don't they?
They do.
They do. So occupational health and safety is a must, even though they are not mandated to get that certification. Patience, your hand is up. Is it from the previous one?
No.
Okay,
Madam,
go
please,
ahead.
the energy management, can we consider the cable companies that produces those heavy cables?
Yes.
Those produce lightning gadgets and all that.
Yes. It has to do with energy, doesn't it? They use energy to do what they do.
Yes, madam.
Good. Abdullah, go ahead.
Yes, madam, I wanted to actually go back to the ISO 9001, the quality management system.
Good.
So with the quality management system and the occupational health and safety, I kind of see that there's a similarity between them. It's more like they are in every industry, but depending on the what do they call it, the boundary it crosses. So for organizations that are willing to move across, yes.
These certifications are in no way similar to each other.
Okay.
they are developed to stand unique and distinct from each other.
Okay.
So where occupational health and safety is looking at the health and safety of all the employees, quality management systems are looking at the processes and systems that are put in place in the manufacture or delivery of a particular product or service.
Okay.
So every standard is distinct and different. And there are copious documents that have specific requirements of each of these standards listed in them. So if you go and you want to be certified for ISO 9001, you get a separate set of documents from perhaps if you were going for ISO 45001 or ISO 50001. Yes. They are all distinct and separate from each other.
Okay. I think so the angle I was going to come from doesn't go in that direction. Initially, I was thinking like the ISO 9001 quality management system, since it deals with the processes, the quality of the product or the goods of the that is being produced or that is being offered. Then if it doesn't fall within that range, then it's falling short. Probably it might be denying the market or in everywhere it goes in the world.
No,
just like
in fact, it is the quality management system that makes whatever product that is produced at the end of the day fit for international markets.
Yes.
Does it make sense now?
Yeah.
Good. And that is one of the main reasons why organizations go for ISO certification, because it means that they are fit to sell whatever it is that they are producing in other parts of the world, and it will be acceptable. So I hope we are all on the same page now.
Yes, madam.
Good. So let's look at some examples of companies in Ghana that are ISO 9001:2015 certified. We can first talk about Ash Foam. Who remembers the Ash Foam song? Ijakono, Ojamadiebi, Ojamadiebe. Do you remember that?
Ash Foam.
Ash Foam, good. They are the only foam manufacturing company in Ghana with the ISO 9001 certification. That is not to say that latex foam doesn't produce quality foam, right?
Yes.
But the two of them,
yes.
If they were going international, which one do you think would have a leg up?
Ash foam.
Ash foam. Because they have ISO 9001:2015, meaning that they are certified in terms of their quality management systems. Pastor, your hand is up.
Yes. I just wanted a clarification, but it seems you were trying to answer my question. But then, without the ISO certification, does the Ghana Standard Authority have any certification?
Yes, they do. They have their
And
own
which
certification.
one?
In fact, the Ghana Standard Authority also certifies for ISO.
Oh, okay.
So there are certain ISO certifications you can get from the Ghana Standard Authority. Let me quickly take you to their website and show you something. Okay, I'm going to share my screen with you right now. So that you can see. Oh, God. Who is that? Are you tired?
It's been a long day.
I can imagine. The same for me. My day always starts at 3 a.m. every day.
Wow.
Yes. So don't worry. It's all part of life. We are training you for the future.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm going to share my screen now. Let me know as soon as you can see it. Can you see the screen?
It's
It's loading.
Okay.
Yeah, the screen is on.
Good. So this is the certification page of the Ghana Standards Authority. Can we see that?
Yes, please.
Good.
Yep.
And you see that they have different levels of certification. They have product certification, management system certification, and then industrial support certification. Now,
yes,
under product certification, you can see that they certify for what is this? ISO what? IEC.
IEC 17065.
17,065.
17,065. Good. Remember, I told you that there are so many of the standards.
Yes.
So they can only keep up by using the numbers.
Yeah.
Right? Good. So I taught you something right now about the numbering. Look at this number, ISO IEC 17,067 colon 2013. What does that mean?
It means
It means its last update was in 2013.
Awesome. Right? So that is how they are read.
Yeah.
So we have confirmed right now that the Ghana Standards Authority, in fact, does do the ISO certification. And they do it for all the others. Because remember, I told you there are so many others.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Now let's scroll down to the management system certification side. Look at what they cover. They cover some of the ones we just learned about. Can you see that?
Yeah.
They have
Yes.
ISO what? 22,000 food
22,000.
safety management.
Mm-hmm.
Then they have ISO what? 14,001
14,001.
environmental management. Then they have what? ISO 9,001 quality
management system.
Good. Right? Then when we come down to the industrial support departments, they also have some of the other ISOs here, but they haven't put the certification numbers there. So they have quality management. Quality management systems is which ISO standard? This one is a quiz.
ISO 9001.
Awesome. Food management is which one? Food safety management is which one?
Food safety management is ISO
iOS
22,000.
22,000. Good. Environmental management is which one?
14,001.
iOS 14,001.
Awesome. And then occupational health and safety.
45,001.
I always said 45,001.
Awesome. Right? So you get it now. Well done. If I clap for yourself. There's a clapper in the reactions. Everyone should give yourself one. You've done very well. Right?
Yeah.
So the Ghana Standards Authority does the certification, and we have just observed firsthand that they do quite a number of them. Okay, so continuing with the examples, can we see the slide now?
Yes, please.
All right, so let's continue with the examples of ISO 9001 certified companies in Ghana. We first talked about ash foam. We can also talk about Goil Energy, Goil Ghana. They have the ISO 9001 2015 certification. We can also talk about Total Ghana. They also have ISO 9001 2015. Then we can talk about Vivo Energy. They also have ISO 9001 2015. And then finally, we can talk about Voltic Ghana. They also have ISO 9001 2015. Ahafan, go ahead. Ahafan, we can't hear you. Your voice is so far away.
The ash foam, for instance. Can they have two different certifications, like maybe having the occupational and at the same time having the 9001?
Yes, they can. Yes, they can. An organization is not limited as to how many certifications they can have, as long as the certification is relevant to their operations. Please, I hope it makes sense.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, please.
All right.
So the standards they can apply for is also limited by their operation.
Yes, you can't go for a standard that doesn't is not relevant to your operations. For instance, can ash foam go for ISO 22000?
Not relevant.
Safety management. No, it's not relevant.
Unless they want to spoil money.
Exactly. Do you get my point now?
Yes, madam.
Yeah.
All right. All right. Okay. So now we are going to delve deep into a particular standard that is relevant to our course, which is measuring customer satisfaction. But before then, we have observed that there are many independent and accredited bodies, including our own Ghana Standards Authority, that help companies to obtain the certification. But it is important for us to note that the International Organization for Standardization does not issue the certification. They just bring together all the different national standard bodies to come up with the certifications and to state the requirements. It is these national standards bodies that are responsible for helping organizations obtain the certification. So in Ghana here, we have organizations like the Ghana Standards Authority being the foremost organization that can help companies obtain that certification. And then when we go into private sector, we have a company known as SGS Ghana Limited. Their office is situated in airport. They also help firms or companies obtain ISO certification. But like every certification, it is not permanent. You have to renew it after a certain period of time. It's just like your driver's license. When you get it and you use it after a period of about 2 years, you need to go for renewal, right? So a company can qualify for a particular certification today, but maybe in about 2 or 3 years when they are due for renewal, they may not qualify because perhaps they do not meet certain requirements that are stated within the standard at that point in time. So with that being said, what are the benefits of getting an ISO certificate? Because like I said, the process of getting it is not easy. Sometimes companies even have to hire consultants who are experts in understanding the standards to help them to navigate and understand each of the requirements and be able to meet each of these requirements. And it does not come cheap. So why will a firm go through all that trouble to get an ISO certification? The number one reason we can talk about is reliability. If a company has an ISO certification, in the eyes of all the world, not just the country within the operating, they have demonstrated that they satisfy quality, safety, and durability requirements that products and services have to have. And they satisfy these requirements in the eyes of not just their fellow organizations within the same sector or the regulatory bodies within the sector that they operate, but they have also done it in the eyes of the purchasers, being the customers who spend their money to buy, as well as suppliers who supply them with raw material. Because you know there are certain suppliers who are very picky about who the companies that they sell to and companies that they deal with. Certain companies have to meet a certain standard before they can do business with them. And ISO certifications are one of those standards by which they rank the companies that they want to supply to. Again, before people will do business with your company, they also want to make sure that you satisfy certain international standards. And ISO certification is one of them. At the same time, we can talk about governmental bodies like the Ghana Standards Authority. If you want to sell your product in Ghana and the Ghana Standards Authority checks the product that you are selling and you do not have some of these certifications, they may require you to go through the process of getting some of these certifications before they even allow your product on the market. Because that is the only way they can convince themselves that the product or service that you are going to be delivering is up to international standard. So one benefit of the ISO certification is the ability for firms who obtain it to communicate that they are reliable and are producing quality, safe, and durable products, right? So all the ash foams and the totals and the oils who went for that certification are communicating to us that they are reliable because they have quality management systems. The next benefit is improved performance. Remember we talked about the fact that the ISO certification lists certain requirements that an organization must satisfy in order to qualify for the certification. And these requirements are requirements that have been put together by experts in their fields who believe that if a company has these requirements, they'll be producing quality, safe, and durable products. And if you are able to do so and communicate it to your audience, definitely you will be the preferred organization that they want to deal with. And this will have a direct implication for your performance. Because based on satisfying the requirements of these standards, you now have the knowledge as an organization to know what is best practice and what is not. And once you know best practice, you can be able to use that knowledge to optimize your operations and ultimately perform better. So improved performance is another benefit of obtaining an ISO certification. And as a direct implication, we can also talk about the fact that whatever outputs that you produce, be it a product or service, will be of better quality because you are now complying with international standard. So whatever you produce is compatible and comparable to products of a similar nature that are produced in the better, more developed countries like the UK and the US and the Canada, because you are producing at an international standard. And because your product meets the standard of these different markets, you can now have access to those markets and go and even sell some of your products there because the quality is acceptable based on international standard. So better quality is a third benefit of obtaining an ISO certification as an organization. Next, we can talk about risk reduction. As part of satisfying ISO requirements, organizations need to prepare in advance to manage and mitigate risks. And these are risks that have to do with whatever certification that you are going in for. So if, for instance, you are going in for a certification like that of the ISO 9001, you need to be able to show that you are capable of managing and mitigating risks that have to do with all the processes involved in producing that particular product or service. So perhaps the state of your machinery, the movement of raw material from one point to the other along the value chain, all the processes that are involved from inbound logistics to outbound logistics to manufacturing to service, all of these, you have to be able to prove that you have a fair assessment of the possible risks that may arise. And you have put in place measures to be able to manage and mitigate them. So because of this, if problems arise, because you have obtained the certification, you already know beforehand and are better equipped to deal with whatever risk may come up. And even if the risk comes up and you are not able to stop it, based on the fact that you have met the international requirements, you know what to do to be able to survive the effects of those risks, as well as recover faster from the outcomes of it. And finally, with ISO certification, definitely if you are reducing your risk and you are producing better quality products that you can sell, not just in your country, but in other countries across the world, because of the quality and standardized nature of whatever output you are producing, definitely your revenue will go up because the certification becomes some form of advert for you that can make you a preferred brand over your competitors. So the ISO certificate is a must-have for a number of organizations, mainly because they want it to directly affect their bottom line and help them to increase their sales and revenue. So these are the 5 main benefits that firms look to obtain when they go in for an ISO certification. Please, does anyone have anything they need clarification on?
Yes, madam.
Abdallah, go ahead.
With the risk reduction, I'm not really sure I get it very well. As for the revenue generation, I thought it would be more easier to explain it using the increase in market reach, as it's now competing markets. People around the world can see more, so it increases your reach, and then you end up in the long run probably increase your market shares because it provides you avenue to actually cross border.
Yes, you can cross borders
to sell your products. Yes.
But when you cross borders, it gives you access to a new group of customers as well. Because there are firms that have been able to sell their products across borders without ISO certification.
Yes.
Good. So the ISO certification opens up a new segment for you.
Okay.
And increases your reach.
Yeah.
Good.
So I was just saying that I could use the increasing reach to explain the increase in revenue.
You can also explain it from that angle. So you're spot on in that regard.
Yeah.
All right.
The risk reduction is the point I didn't get. I don't know if you can be.
Okay, so let's go back to risk
at.
reduction. So remember I told you that the ISO standardization comes with a set of guidelines.
Yes.
And as part of those guidelines, there are certain requirements you have to fulfill. And these requirements include an aspect that has to do with you identifying the possible risks and dangers that come with the business that you do.
Okay.
So for instance, if you are going through something like the ISO 9001 quality management system, you need to look into all the processes that go into converting the raw material that you get from your suppliers into a finished product.
Okay.
And definitely in performing all these activities, there are certain kinds of risks that may come up. You agree?
Yes.
Good.
Yes.
So before we can certify you, we need to make sure that you have a high appreciation of the amount of risk that is probably going to come up. And you have put in place adequate measures to make sure that should these risks occur,
Be minimized.
they'll be minimized.
Yeah.
And without convincing the certification body of that, you will never get the ISO certification. Yes. So it forces the organization to put in place measures to deal with risk.
Yeah. It's clear now.
Good.
Thank you, ma'am.
You're welcome, Abdullah.
So, madam.
Yes, go ahead.
With the ISO certification, like how long does it take to actually go through it and then get certified?
It takes as long as you are able to meet all their requirements.
Wow.
So you have to set the process in motion. And like I said, the process sometimes is so complicated that some organizations actually have to go in and get special consultants who specialize in ISO certification to help them go through the process.
Okay.
Because the requirements are a lot.
Yeah.
I
get it down. I'm just imagining all those processes and I'm trying to figure out this will take probably 6 months.
Yeah. So you can imagine.
It's a long process. That's why it's expensive.
Exactly. Time and money. I'm glad you get it now. Okay, Pastor, your hand is up.
Madam, yes, these benefits, accrues to the organization or the firm.
Yeah.
Because I am a consumer, I am a customer, I want a quality, bed to sleep on.
Yes.
What benefits would the ISO 9001 with what Ashford, gets? What benefits will it give me as a customer?
ISO 9001 is basically our quality management system. So that means that it's about certifying your management systems to ensure that it is designed such that anything that comes out of it is of the highest quality and is guaranteed to meet customer requirements. Remember I talked about the fact that satisfaction of customers is all about being able to meet their requirements.
Yes.
Good. So you need to be able to produce a quality product that customers will perceive to be of value before they will be satisfied after they consume it. So ash foam, by getting a certification, is basically telling us that all the processes that they go through to produce ash foam are designed to guarantee that the final product that comes out is of the highest quality. And the customer who buys it will enjoy it and be satisfied with it. Does it make sense?
Okay.
Good. So for me, if I was going to buy, like I said, a mattress, and I had to choose between ash foam and latex foam, and ash foam has ISO certification and latex foam does not, as an informed consumer, I know it's in my best interest to buy from the company that has the ISO certification. True or false?
True.
Yeah, because they have been able to prove that their product meets international quality standards. So first, I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, but then that does not mean latest foam is not of quality.
No, it does not, but they have not been able to prove it to us in any way, except perhaps in other ways we have been able to identify that quality.
Okay.
Right? Perhaps by other organizations' experiences, other customers' experiences, or perhaps they have some other qualifications as well. You know, ISO standards are not the only qualification that we have.
Okay.
You know that?
Yes.
Aha.
Yes.
Yes, please.
Aha. So maybe they also have other certifications. But today we are learning about ISO being one of the foremost certification bodies in the world.
Okay.
Good. Hassan, your hand is still up. If it is from the previous one, kindly lower your hand so that we can be able, thank you. Abdallah, please go ahead. Abdallah, can you hear me? Abdallah. Ibrahim Abdallah.
Abdul.
I think he's having connection issues because he's gone off.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's hope he joins us soon. All right. So now that we are done with the benefits, we are going to discuss a specific set of standards that have to do directly with measuring customer satisfaction. Now, this set of standards is known as the ISO 10,000 family of standards. Derek, come in.
Hello, madam.
Yes, please speak up. I can't hear you clearly.
And please, I was having connection issues earlier, so I don't really get the concept of the ISO. When I came in, we had the benefits.
Oh, Derek, it means you are sending us all back to the beginning.
Well, you can just brush through. Like, I'm getting the concepts, but not the full
Okay,
thing.
so basically what we were saying is that the ISO standards are developed by the International Organization for Standardization, right? Yes, and they develop these standards in conjunction with the standards bodies of over 165 countries. And these standards cut across organizations. So depending on the purposes of the organization, they can decide which set of standards that they want to be certified for. Okay. Now we talked about the fact that the standards are myriad. There are so many of them. We have 9,000, 17,000, 27,000, 22,000, 50,000, you name it. And each of them targets a specific system, which the organization can get certified for. So we talked about a few examples of the certifications like you can see on the screen, and then organizations that can benefit from obtaining that certification. Then we also went to the Ghana Standards Authority page and we looked at the certifications that the Ghana Standards Authority is able to certify organizations for. And we went through a number of them. And then when we came back, we looked at examples of specific organizations in Ghana that have qualified and are certified for the ISO 9001 2015 certification. And we also learned about the numbering structure of the ISO standards. We talked about the fact that the ISO standards have a root number and then a colon and then the year. The year telling us the most recent revision that was done to that particular standard. So Derek, I'm asking you, if we are seeing ISO 9001:2015, what does it mean?
It means the latest updates on the standard was made in 2015.
Awesome, you've got it.
Yes, please.
So these are organizations that are certified for ISO 9001:2015. We have Boyle Ghana, Total Ghana, Vivo Energy Ghana, and then Voltaic Ghana Limited, in addition to Ashford. So from here, we went on and discussed the benefits of the certification.
Yes, please.
Which you were here for that.
Yeah. Yes, please.
Okay.
I'll say.
Good. So now we can move on.
Yes, please.
All right. So, like I was saying, the specific set of standards that we are going to discuss today have to do directly with measuring customer satisfaction. And this is the ISO 10,000 family of standards. Now, the ISO 10,000 family of standards range all the way from ISO 10,001 to ISO 10,019. Now, these standards provide guidance on a range of topics related to quality management, right down from customer satisfaction, which is what we are interested in our course, people involvement and competence, which also somehow influences customer satisfaction, up to realizing financial and economic benefits from the application of quality management principles, which is when you are going further down the 10,000s, getting closer to the 10,019 range. Now, these ISO 10,000 family of standards can be used by any organization, no matter the type, size, product, or service, because they generally have to do with keeping the customer satisfied and other baseline activities like realizing financial and economic benefits, which cut across all organizations. So basically, this ISO 10,001 family of standards focuses specifically on the customers who are outside of the organization, not the suppliers, not the personnel, but on the customer, and how to be able to satisfy the customer effectively and do so in a profitable manner. And that is why we are interested in the ISO 10,000 family of standards. Now, going deeper into the ISO 10,000 family of standards, there's a specific group of standards that have to do directly with managing customer satisfaction. And these are ISO 10,001 to ISO 10,004. And we are going to take them one after the other, all the way to ISO 10,004 and see what they are about. So let's start with ISO 10,001 2018. Please, what does ISO 10,001 2018 mean? Can somebody tell us quickly?
It means it was updated in 2018.
Good. So the ISO 10,001 2018 talks about quality management as it relates to customer satisfaction, and then specifically the guidelines for codes of conduct for organizations. So that means that ISO 10,001 deals with guidelines for codes of conduct in organizations when it comes to customer satisfaction. Now, this standard was developed because, first of all, meeting high levels of customer satisfaction can be challenging. And as we learned earlier today, it is because customer needs are myriad. Their expectations are so many, and there's no way we can fully satisfy it, which makes the whole process a challenging one. So the ISO 10,001 2018 helps organizations to put in place a customer satisfaction code of conduct by offering guidelines for the planning of customer satisfaction processes, the design, development, implementation, maintenance, and improvement of customer satisfaction. So specifically, the customer satisfaction code of conduct consists of everything from promises that the organization makes to customers, as well as related provisions to fulfilling these promises. And they address issues like the code of conduct that has to do with product and service delivery, product returns, handling of customer information, advertising, and product stipulations. So if a company gets certified for ISO 10,001 2018, it means that they have a set code of conduct that tells them how to be able to handle issues that have to do with customer satisfaction in relation to items like product and service delivery, product returns, handling of customer information, advertising, and product stipulations. So if you are certified for this particular standard, it means that you have a code of conduct that tells everybody how to go about managing customer satisfaction. Does it make sense?
Yes.
Yes, please.
Good. Next, we can talk about ISO 10002. And this one specifically deals with guidelines for what? Complaint handling. The first one dealt with customer satisfaction what? Guidelines for code of conduct. And the two deals with guidelines for complaint handling. Now, complaints are a key part of dealing with customers because they are inevitable. And there are some of the primary means by which a firm can be able to determine the level of satisfaction among their customers. Because the more complaints you have, what does it mean in relation to customer satisfaction?
It means the
The
customers
bad
are.
You have to speak one at a time. The more complaints we have, Abdullah, go ahead.
That means the more dissatisfied the customers are.
Exactly. So we need a way of handling these complaints to ensure that we do not lose our customers completely and get them to become terrorists. The manner in which we handle the complaints is what is going to make the difference between them becoming a terror and them becoming apostles. So these complaint handling guidelines will help an organization to handle complaints in a manner that will help them to be able to determine whether they are meeting the customer's needs well or not, and make up for the mistakes that they make in terms of missing the mark on satisfying customer needs and meeting their expectations. So the ISO 10002/2018 provides guidance for organizations to be able to plan, develop, operate, maintain, and improve an effective and efficient complaint handling process. Because the process of complaint handling has to be handled very carefully, right from the person who receives the complaint to the person who informs the customer about the manner in which their complaint has been resolved. It's a whole process. How many times have you made a complaint to an organization and it was resolved and nobody even told you about it? So you sat down fuming for a very long time. Has it happened to anyone before?
Nah, there's the opposite way.
They informed you that the complaint has been resolved. Is that what you mean by the opposite?
Yes.
Good.
Yes.
Good. But I have experienced.
But then it wasn't resolved.
You see, so they were lying. That's even the worst part.
Yeah.
They're lying to you as well. Right? But at the end of the day, a good complaint handling system is supposed to be able to ensure that from when the complaint is made, customers keep getting updates regarding how the firm is going about solving the problem. And then once the problem is resolved, the firm is supposed to inform the customer about the resolution of the problem and apologize for any inconvenience caused. Right? And to be able to do this, firms need to be able to keep up with all the complaints. That is why they have to have a plan for handling these complaints, which must be designed and developed to suit the specific customer needs and requirements that they have. And it should be maintained because over time, the complaint handling system that was designed may not be as effective as it was when it was initially designed. So over time, it has to be maintained and improved upon so that it will keep on being effective and efficient, because we know that customers evolve. Their needs change over time. Remember, we talked about the fact that the needs are dynamic and they are dependent upon the level at which the customer is in the hierarchy. So your basic customer or regular customer today may be your prestige customer tomorrow. And the manner in which you handle their complaints may have to be adjusted. Please, does it make sense?
Yes, ma'am.
Good. So the ISO 10002 helps the firm to put in place these complaint handling systems and then use it to handle customer complaints to ensure that the customer remains satisfied. Next, we can talk about 10,003, which deals with dispute resolution external to the organization. A dispute resolution becomes necessary as a direct result of the poor management of customer complaints. Because when there's a customer complaint and it is not handled well, depending on the kind of customer that you have, it may escalate into a full-blown dispute. So the ISO 10003/2018 helps organizations to plan, operate, maintain, and improve an effective and efficient external dispute resolution process, and to select a dispute resolution provider, which in this case could be a lawyer, because some customers take their dispute as far as the law courts, depending on how dissatisfied they are and how far they want to take their dissatisfaction. Therefore, in aiming to enhance customer satisfaction, dispute resolution is crucial in providing a means of redress when organizations are not able to handle complaints internally. Because like I said, when complaints are not handled well, they escalate into full-blown disputes. So this particular standard is supposed to ensure that organizations are prepared to deal with disputes once they arise. And that is the ISO 10003/2018. Hassan says, can we use the telecommunications as example? After customers complain a lot on internet connection problems and they keep giving updates till the resolution of the problem. Yes, you can use that as an example. That is an example of a company that has in place a good complaint handling system. So I hope that answers your question now, Hassan. I see a hand is up.
Yes, ma'am.
I can barely hear you. Which hand is up? There's a hand up there. Derek, or is the old one?
Yes, please. I think so.
Okay, so please lower your hand for me. All right. So now we move on to the star of the ISO 10001 series that is directly related to what we are going to be studying in this course. And that is ISO 10004/2018. And that refers to guidelines for what? Can someone read it out for me?
Guidelines for monitoring and measuring.
Good. So this one is directly related to what we are going to be studying in this course. So a lot of the things we will be discussing throughout the course have to do with the guidelines that have been put in place in this document to help organizations monitor and measure customer satisfaction. Now, this particular standard is very pivotal to our course because complaints and disputes are a more disastrous means of an organization generating awareness of their customer satisfaction. And the organization cannot afford to always wait for complaints to come and disputes to emerge before they appreciate the level of dissatisfaction that customers have. So it is in their best interest to put in place a system to monitor and measure customer satisfaction consistently to ensure that they are able to identify and manage sources of complaints and disputes before they even emerge. So through going by the monitoring and measuring guidelines that have been provided in this standard, firms are able to acquire information that can help them identify opportunities to improve upon their strategies, products, services, and processes in a bid to provide value to customers and ensure that they are satisfied. So through the monitoring and measuring, they can be able to identify any potential sources of complaints and disputes as well, and resolve or deal with them before they get out of hand. And that is what we are going to be focusing on throughout the period of our course. So I'm going to take you into the ISO 10004/2018 standards document, and we will go through it and see in a nutshell what the standard covers. Foster, come in.
If I heard you clearly, you are
Yeah.
just trying to say that there are guidelines. You cannot just stand up and then monitor and measure customer satisfaction anyhow.
No.
With the IoT. Oh, okay. Right.
There are processes you have to go through and specific things that you have to do.
Okay.
Good. So this standard gives us the direction on how to go about it. So please, can you see the screen that I'm sharing?
Yes, please.
Good.
Yes, please.
Now this publication is by the British Standard Institute, or is it institution? I've forgotten the full name, but it's the Organization for British Standards, the same way we have the Ghana Standards Authority, right? And this is their publication on the ISO 10004/2018, which is the guidelines for monitoring and measuring customer satisfaction. Now, when we take the document, they give us a foreword telling us that it is this British standard is the UK implementation of ISO 10004/2018. And they said it supersedes BS ISO 10004/2012, which is withdrawn, right? So do you see what is happening here? It tells us that prior to the 2018 version, the version that was before the 2018 version was which one?
2012.
2012. Good. So the moment the new version came, they withdrew the old version and put out the new version. Good. So this document covers the provisions that have been made in the new version. So now let's go into the document. You see that the various sections in the document. It gives us the scope of the document, the normative references, the terms and definitions, concepts and guiding principles, the framework for monitoring and measuring customer satisfaction, planning, design, and development, and then the operations. Do you see? Look at the operations. What do you see there? Identifying customer expectations.
Identifying customer expectation.
Good. Determining customer expectations, gathering customer satisfaction data. Do you see that?
Yes.
Good. Do you see analyzing customer satisfaction data? Do you see that?
Yes.
Good. So throughout this course, we will learn about, already we have learned about how to identify expectations, haven't we?
Yes.
Yes, we have. So for the rest of the course, we will learn about how to be able to measure customer satisfaction, how to gather customer satisfaction data. In fact, you will have a practical approach to doing this. So by the time you finish, you would have learned how to gather customer satisfaction data. You would have learned how to code customer satisfaction data, and you would have learned how to analyze it. How many of you know how to use SPSS? If you know how to use SPSS, raise your hand. Hello? Are you there?
Yeah,
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, yeah.
Does it mean none of you know how to use SPSS?
Yes.
No.
Yes,
We don't
please.
even know what it is.
I am shook. Are you you are in level 400.
Yeah, bro.
Hey! Okay.
I know it, but I've never used it before.
We shall overcome. You are going to use SPSS
Surely.
in this my class.
Hey.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Your group work is based on SPSS, so you can't dodge.
Hey.
People try their hands. Oh, don't worry, I'll teach you.
Okay.
So SPSS is a data analysis software,
Yes.
right? So SPSS stands for Statistical Package for the Social Sciences.
We don't know it, so we don't know how to use it. Me, I don't know how
I'm
to use
teaching you
it.
what
So
SPSS stands for. We've already started how to with the SPSS training. So SPSS stands for Statistical Package for Social Sciences. Repeat after me. statistical, package,
Social sciences.
good. Hence the acronym SPSS. And it is a data analysis software. It helps us to be able to analyze data. Now, how do we arrive by this data? SPSS deals with the analysis of quantitative data. And usually when we are dealing with measuring customer satisfaction, because of the large numbers of our customers, we often gravitate towards using quantitative approaches, because quantitative approaches help us to be able to cover a larger sample size and generalize our findings to the large sample. So we tend to steer more towards quantitative approaches. However, there are also qualitative approaches, which we are also going to learn about. And those ones are more time consuming and involving. However, they give us deeper insights into understanding the mindset of the customer and the specific factors that lead to their level of satisfaction or dissatisfaction. But because of the amount of work and effort involved, when it comes to qualitative research, we cannot do as large numbers as we can with a quantitative study. So for quantitative research, I can study as many as 5,000, 6,000, 7,000 customers at a time just by entering their data into the software and running it. But with qualitative, it will take me a longer period of time and more effort to be able to study the same number of customers. Does it make sense?
Yes.
So in this course, I will teach you how to develop a survey instrument. The survey instrument is a quantitative data collection instrument, which you will understand very soon. Next week, we will talk about quantitative approaches to measuring customer satisfaction and qualitative approaches. So it will be clearer to you then. So we'll develop a questionnaire and you will get to collect some data. I'll teach you how to code it and enter it into SPSS, and you will try your hands on running the analysis.
Yeah.
So we shall overcome.
Amen.
But technically, I'm very surprised. I'm shocked because at this point, a number of you are doing long essay. And in doing long essay, some of you will
We are not doing long essays.
Hey,
I don't think any of us is doing long essay.
Why?
We are not doing long essay.
Why are you running away from long essay?
Madam, there's no time.
Confess.
Madam, Corona period, long essay. Hey.
I hear you.
The timetable has been structured.
Madam, please, I can't hear you clearly.
Yasmin, are you there? Please, is everyone having the same problem?
No,
I'm good.
only with Yasmin.
Yasmin, please check your connection. Well, I understand you with regard to the corona and the long essay stuff. I get it. But with this particular one, the SPSS, you will all try your hands on it because it seems that is the only research experience you will have before you leave. Since you've all dodged the longest. So you will all try your hands on it, but it will be fun. I guarantee you it will be fun. So these things that you have stated in the guidelines, you will get to try your hands on it before you leave, right? So we will do everything from identifying and selecting the characteristics related to customer satisfaction that we want to measure. In fact, I'm going to give you two scenarios, right? Since you're e-commerce students, we'll look at measurement of customer satisfaction as it relates to online shopping, and then another one as it relates to online banking. So I'll divide the class into two groups of 5 each. One group will work on the measuring customer satisfaction with online banking, and the other group will deal with measuring customer satisfaction with online shopping. So it will be fun.
And groups of 5.
Yeah, you are 10, aren't you?
We are 11.
We are 11.
Yeah, so the 11th person can pick which group she wants to join.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'll divide you guys into 2 groups, and you will work on these.
I want to be the one to pick to make that choice.
Are you sure? We are going to do we'll do a ballot.
Madam, we'll ballot.
That's all. We'll do ballot.
Yeah.
Ballot, oh, ballot.
So that it will
We'll
be fair.
choose 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2.
So we'll ballot for it to be fair.
Can't do ballot on Zoom.
Are
We
you
can,
sure?
don't worry.
We can.
We will know how to do it.
Hold on. You are in the e-commerce class. And
Yes.
you are talking to your e-commerce lecturer. You are saying we don't know how to do ballot on Zoom. Say you don't know how to do ballot.
Personal pronoun.
Yes, so because it can be
we'll
swept.
figure it out. Yeah, we'll figure it out. If we
Sure.
have to run a poll, we'll do so.
Okay.
We will.
All right. So these are the various guidelines that are provided in the document. So when you go down to the page numbers that are indicated, let's start from the operations page. That will be page 7. I see that the guidelines are a lot and very detailed. So this is page 7. Good. So at the operation page, look at what is happening. Right? So here it says to monitor and measure customer satisfaction, the organization should 1, identify customer expectations, which we have learned how to do. 2, gather customer satisfaction data, which we will be learning how to do in the next 3-4 weeks. 3-4 sessions, sorry, over the next 2 weeks. So we'll learn quantitative and qualitative approaches to gathering customer satisfaction data. And then we will develop a survey instrument and we will actually collect customer satisfaction data. Then I'll teach you how to code this data and enter it into SPSS like we have said. Then we'll move to the next stage of analyzing customer satisfaction data, which I'll teach you how to do by analyzing it in the SPSS software. And then I'll teach you how to interpret the results. And through the interpretation, we'll be able to communicate certain customer satisfaction information that will guide the decision-making of whichever organization is doing the online shopping or the online banking, right? So based on the processes, the standard is saying that once you obtain the results and you use it to influence your decision-making, it doesn't stop there. You have to keep on monitoring. And this monitoring is ongoing, meaning that over time, you have to continue measuring and analyzing and communicating. That is the only way you can keep the monitoring going. Because without measuring, you will not know what is happening. So it is a consistent cycle, as we can see in the figure 1 that has been indicated here. Please, can we see that?
Yes, madam.
Good. So the figure first talks about inputs related to customer satisfaction, which is all the things that the firm has done that they believe should contribute to customer satisfaction. Now, when they put those inputs in, it is as a result of the fact that they have done what? Identified certain customer expectations. So when you identify the customer expectations and you know what you have put in, you can now go ahead and gather customer satisfaction data to see if what you are putting in is actually meeting their expectations. And once you obtain the data, you analyze this data. And after analyzing it, you need to communicate the outputs of what you have found to be able to see if indeed you are meeting customer expectations or not. If you are meeting customer expectations, it will tell you the degree of customer satisfaction. That means that they are getting closer and closer to being what? Satisfied. If the output tells us that we are not meeting customer satisfaction, it also tells us the degree of customer satisfaction there, meaning that they are not as satisfied as we thought. They are perhaps more dissatisfied. And we can see that the arrow is not a straight arrow, it goes in a loop. Do we see? Indicating that it is an ongoing process. So we monitor customer satisfaction and measure it consistently. We don't stop. We keep going. We keep going because at any point in time, we talked about the fact that customer needs are dynamic. They can change at any time. So we have to continue measuring to be able to ensure that their needs have not changed and we do not know. Because if their needs have changed, it means that what we are offering them will no longer be satisfactory. So we have to identify where we fall short and put in place the necessary measures to be able to come back to the level where we are satisfying our customers. So after they give the general breakdown in the standard, then they come down to specifics. They break down how you can identify who your customers are, first of all. how you determine their expectations. Here they talk about the fact that we can differentiate between stated customer requirements. And these are the requirements that the customer actually tells you about. So a customer comes in and they tell you that, well, I need to open a bank account. And then they will ask you, okay, how old are you? Are you a student? Are you a worker? You tell them that, okay, I need to open a bank account. I'm a student at the University of Ghana. And because of that, I'm opening the bank account at the Legon branch. These are stated customer requirements that the customer has actually told you. But then there are also implied customer requirements that the customer does not necessarily tell you, but they imply it, meaning that they expect you to know that they have to have this service in addition. So for instance, if you go to a bank and you say you want to open a bank account right now, that is a stated requirement. What are some other implied requirements that you have of your banker that you expect them to be able to satisfy? Are you there? Yes,
Yes,
Foster.
yes,
Foster, come in.
please.
I think the types of accounts that are available.
Good. So your requirements are implied when you tell them that you are a student and you want to open a bank account. So they can't give you a fixed deposit account, true or false?
True.
Yeah, because the person has told you that they are a student. So it is implied that they don't have the kind of money that can go into opening a fixed deposit account. Does it make sense?
No, it doesn't.
It doesn't. Okay. How do I make this clearer? By coming to your branch and telling you I'm a student and I need to open a bank account, and by implication telling you that don't open an account for me that it's not fit for a student.
Okay.
Does it make sense?
Yes, please.
So it cuts out
Yes.
all accounts that are not favorable to students, including fixed deposit accounts, which require a certain minimum amount of money. Most of the time that
or dollar accounts.
Or go dollar account, euro account. Like I'm implying that don't even put me in that bracket because I'm a student. Right? But I'm also implying that I'm a student, meaning that there are certain benefits. You need to give me an account that meets students' requirements. So by implication, I need an account that will give me an ATM card, true or false?
True.
Good. Right? And also by implication, I need an account that perhaps they charge the lowest amount of interest, true or false?
True.
Or no
Very
interest
important.
at all.
Or no interest at all. I remember StanChart had an account like that called Access 247. And it was specifically designed for students.
Yes.
They don't charge any interest. They just charge you, I think, 5 cedis a month or something for maintenance. That's all.
Yeah. First Atlantic Bank too has something like that.
Good. So those are implied customer requirements. The customer doesn't have to talk plenty for you, the organization, to see that these are requirements that are implied based on what they have stated. And these are all the job of the marketer. Right? Our husband is saying accounts that can be linked to your Momo or any digital wallet you have. Yeah. Because students do a lot of these small transactions via Momo and stuff. So that's another implied requirement. Right? They pay for food here for 20 Ghana. They buy a drink here for 10 cedis. So all these little transactions that perhaps they'll do via Momo or their digital wallet should be able to be facilitated by their bank account. So Hassan, that's a good one, right? Then we can also talk about identification of any applicable statutory and regulatory requirements. Now, we all know that in Ghana here, you have to be certain age to be able to open a bank account yourself. True or false?
True.
Good. So your banker should not expect you to come into the bank and tell them that they shouldn't open the account for you if you are this age, or they shouldn't. The bank has to be able to know what you can and cannot do by virtue of the fact that you are a student opening the account using statutory and regulatory requirements. So these things are largely not the responsibility of the customer to tell the bank. But the customer is required to know these things so that the customer will not have, the organization is required to know these things so that the customer will not have to go through the stress of dealing with the repercussions of not having them met as part of the service that they are consuming. So it is not your duty to inform the bank that they have to make sure that you are 18 years old. The bank has to know that they need to do that. So if the bank does not check whether you are 18 years old, and one day you get arrested for having a bank account and being underaged, you have every right to blame the bank, because it is a statutory and regulatory requirement that the bank should have known. You expect the bank to know this. It doesn't make sense.
Yes.
Good. You expect them to know. So even though you do not actually say it, your expectations are in line with that, being that it's a legal requirement and affects your status as a customer. And it is also part of the organization's duty to be able to know that customers have other desires that they expect for the service, like certain perks to come with the service that they are consuming. So for instance, when you open a bank account, even though they do not charge high fees on your bank account, you would always wish that at least they'll give you some interest on your small 100 Ghana that you have deposited. True or false?
True.
Of course.
See your wish list.
Yes, so now and here.
They don't do it, though.
They don't do it.
Oh, they
Yeah,
don't.
They did that.
By that
They only
time,
do the deductions.
Then come
That's
to First
all.
Atlantic Bank. First Atlantic.
Someone
They
gets
do,
it at
Papa.
First Atlantic. So do you see
Hey,
what is
really?
I
happening?
get it every month. I get some.
Good. So do you see what is
Hey.
happening? We have seen two different service providers in the same sector, and they are meeting different customer expectations. Do you see? So
Yes.
First Atlantic has done everything from stated requirements to implied requirements to applicable statutory and regulatory requirements, and added other customer desires.
Desire.
Do you see?
Wow.
But the other bank
Yes.
that does not give the interest rate
Go
has
back.
left out.
All they do is to make their deductions.
All they want to
Access
do is
Bank,
take
they'll
out.
deduct you.
Good.
Even if you have 10 CD, they'll deduct.
Hey.
Me, I do
They
not
talk
ask.
10 cedi.
They too are.
Go back to 300 Ghana away without
Oh, sorry.
explanation.
Sorry. Right? So this is how to determine customer expectations per the ISO 10004/2018 standard. These are all requirements that the customer expects you to be able to fulfill, all these four. So in this case, we can tell which bank is doing better at meeting customer expectations and which bank is not. True or false?
True.
Yeah. So now when you get a chance, follow up that line and go to First Atlantic.
Yes, I'm transferring my money.
Oh, StanChart, my favorite bank.
Oh, Standard doesn't do wish list too.
But they are very good. Their services are
Their
very
services are
authentic.
excellent, but they are the stingiest bank I know. When it comes
Yes.
to saying interest rate. Okay, Hassan is saying Access Bank too called me this afternoon, I believe, just to inform me my account is dormant and I have to make it active. They try to let me know I get some small interest for saving with them. So they are baiting you with wish list. Thank you for sharing. Okay.
And
So
Barclays Bank, ABSA. Currently
good.
ABSA.
Yeah.
They make it difficult for you to open an account with them. The procedures are very complicated.
I think Barclays has been like that from the beginning.
Yes, your water bill, light bill, your
and that is because
direction to your house.
They have to meet certain international standards. They are just like StanChart.
Yes.
Yeah. So
but StanChart is better now. If you are doing the online registration with StanChart, it's very, 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 very good.
Yeah. So the organizations are learning and improving. And I believe it is as a result of measuring and monitoring customer satisfaction. Because there was a time too when I remember StanChart used to put you through a lot of processes and stress. But like I'm saying, they are improving. So that means that they are learning something from their customers. right? And that is why what we are learning here is so important. Without measuring and monitoring customer satisfaction, you will not know where you need to make improvements. So it's very good that all these examples are coming across, right? Someone says, am I the only one using Stanbic? Oh, I don't think so. Maybe because we are a small class. Perhaps if the class was a bit larger, you would have found some.
I also have a dormant account there.
So,
their services. Yeah, so I have dormant account with them. So
for the dormant account there, we have it.
We have a lot.
There's some.
EcoBank. EcoBank, I don't even use it.
Plenty.
So just come and say they want to register you by force.
Yeah.
Hey.
Plenty. Then when they
free accounts,
open, then you leave it for them.
Register by force.
You leave it for them. You take your 10 CD. By all means, you take your 10.
They start paying.
They can worry. Hey.
Yeah, they have to meet their targets.
They have to meet their target too.
Yeah.
It's the first years I pity you right now, dear. First years, come and open accounts. Come and open accounts.
So, like we said, determining the customer expectations is very important because this is what will help you to be able to determine what they require of you as a service provider or as a manufacturer of a particular product or service, right? And once you are able to know what they require of you, you can use it to help you to develop your ISO 10001 2018 standard, which is, which one did we say that is? ISO 10001.
So
Code of conduct.
Code of conduct, good. So you can put the requirements in the code of conduct to let whoever is serving the customer know that this is what they require of us. So however you conduct yourself, you need to make sure that their requirements are met. What about the second one? ISO 10002.
Complaint
handling.
Good. Then ISO 10003.
Dispute resolution.
Resolution.
And then 10,004, the one that we are on now.
Guideline
monitoring
for and measuring.
Good.
Customer satisfaction.
Good. So now that we have determined how to find out and understand customer expectations, right? Right now we know there are 4 requirements: stated customer requirements, implied customer requirements, identification of any applicable statutory and regulatory requirements, and then the other customer desires which are on their wish list. Once we understand these things, we will definitely be able to know what customers expect from us. So we will stop here for now. And then from next week, we will start looking at how to gather customer satisfaction data. Like I said, we will start from the quantitative and qualitative approaches to gathering the data. We will look at how to sample customers to be able to gather this data. And then we will look at developing a survey instrument and actually collecting this data. After which we will move into learning how to code this data, entering it into the analysis software, which we will be using the SPSS software, also known as the Statistical Package for the Social Sciences. Then we'll try our hands on analyzing and then interpreting the outputs of the analysis. And with that, we have come to the end of today's session.
Thank you.
Oh, why are you saying, oh, you don't want us to close?
We are enjoying
your class, but we are tired too.
I know. So we will adjourn and continue next week. I'm glad you're enjoying yourself and you're learning a lot. Foster, your hand is up. Kindly speak.
No, I'm okay. I'm okay.
Yeah, okay. All right.
Yeah.
So after today's session, I'll do my best tomorrow to get you the slides for the 2 sessions we have done. And I'll also share with you the ISO 10004 certification standard document. So you can be able to go through it at your leisure and understand some of the requirements in there.